our topic given for this evening was how to practice Ananya Chintayanto Mam during the COVID-19 uh, phenomenon. So we'll start by reading that verse, 922. Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Jana Paryupasate Tesham Yukta Bhyuktana Tesham Nitya Bhyuktana Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack, and I preserve what they have. Purport. One who is unable to live for a moment without Krishna consciousness cannot but think of Krishna 24 hours a day, being engaged in devotional service by hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, worshiping, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, rendering other services, cultivating friendship, and surrendering fully to the Lord. Such activities are all auspicious and full of spiritual potencies, which make the devotee perfect in self-realization, so that his only desire is to achieve the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a devotee undoubtedly approaches the Lord without difficulty. This is called yoga. By the mercy of the Lord, such a devotee never comes back to this material condition of life. Kshema refers to the merciful protection of the Lord. The Lord helps the devotee to achieve Krishna consciousness by yoga, and when he becomes fully Krishna conscious, the Lord protects him from falling down to a miserable, conditioned life. Om Jnana Timirantasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurn Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Shapadantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamstra. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Vanchalko Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Pyevacha Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So Ananyas Chintayanto Mam means always thinking of Krishna. Ananya, not thinking of other things. How is that possible? We have our accounts to think about, we have our jobs to think about, we have our families to think about. How can one only think about Krishna with all of these other things coming into the picture? So one has to think of Krishna and see everything in relationship to Krishna. Anasaktasya Vishayan Vitarham Upayunjata Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagya. The Vaishnavas see that everything has a relationship with Krishna. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhumirapo nalo vayu kammano buddhirevacha ahankara itiya me binna prakritirashtata. These material energies, earth, water, and so on, all come from me. Aparayam itastvanyam prakriti vidhi me param. Jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. And the living entities who are struggling to exploit the material nature or struggling to exist in the material nature are the spiritual energy of the Lord. Etad yonini bhutani sarvani chupadharya aham krishnasya jagata prabhava pralayastata. But Krishna is the origin of everything. Everything is Krishna's energy, and therefore everything is connected with Krishna, or in one sense non-different from Krishna, as the sun and the sun's energies, the heat and light, are non-different. So, and elsewhere we find Mayadhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharachara. The material nature is working under Krishna's direction. So everything has its connection with Krishna, and therefore everything should be used for Krishna. And everything should be used in Krishna's service. The family members should be seen as Krishna's servants. The home should be seen as Krishna's home. The money should be seen as Krishna's money. Everything should be seen as Krishna's. I'm also, one should see one's own self as being a servant of Krishna. Amitomar Nityadas, I'm your servant. So in this way, one can think of Krishna also, always. Krishna says, Rasoham apsukantiya, prapashmi shashishuryo. I'm the taste of the water, I'm the light of the sun and the moon. Mrityu sarvaharas jaham, I'm also death. What is that? Amritam chaiva mrityuscha sadasach chaham Arjuna. I'm eternal existence, or eternal nectar. Amrita chaiva mrityuscha, I'm also death. Sadasach chaham Arjuna. I'm what's good and what's bad, or what's permanently existing and only temporarily appearing to exist. There's nothing outside of Krishna. So we have the ability, therefore, by remembering Krishna's instructions, to see Krishna everywhere and to think of Krishna everywhere. The spontaneous devotees, that's what they do. They see Krishna everywhere because they have spontaneous love for Krishna. We may not be on that platform, but we can practice. In the 12th chapter also, Krishna says, Mayeva mana adhatsva, Mayi, what is that? Buddhim niveshya, niveshishisi, Mayeva durvam nasangshaya. Just always think of me and you'll surely come to me. But then Krishna says, if you can't always spontaneously be engaged in that kind of spontaneous, loving, devotional service, then practice. What is that? Let's see. Atachittam samadhatum nashaknosi maistiram abhyasa yogena tato mamich chaptum dhananjaya. If you're not on that platform of spontaneous love for Krishna, then abhyasa yogena tato. Then we should begin the process of devotional service and practice. Under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, one should learn the different ways and means for reviving our eternal Krishna consciousness. Mamich chaptam, our desire. The problem of the conditioned soul is that he doesn't desire to become Krishna conscious. He doesn't desire to go back to Godhead. He doesn't desire to serve Krishna. He has spontaneous love of matter, spontaneous attraction to matter, to lording it over the material energy. But Durdaiva Midrashami Hajani Nanaraga. He doesn't have spontaneous attraction for chanting the holy name of the Lord, hearing the glories of the Lord, remembering the Lord, serving the Lord. So these things, therefore, need to be revived. It's already there. Nityasiddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunai. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Koriyayuga. That devotional service is there in the heart, but, and therefore it can be revived. If it weren't there already, we'd be stuck. It's there, and a cleansing process, Chaito Darpana Marjana, is needed so that our eternal Krishna consciousness will rise to the top or be uncovered. So, practice. Yato yato nischalati manaschanchalamasthiram tatastato niyam yaitad atmanyeva vashamane. Wherever the mind goes, just bring it back. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the question is, how during the coronavirus business can we always think of Krishna? Yes. First thing is that it confirmed, this pandemic confirms the philosophy. For those who are thinking that this world is sukhalaya, a place of enjoyment where we can simply, if we think positively or we use our talents, we can control more and more. For them, the pandemic is a demonstration that this is not so. A wave from a tsunami or a tiny virus can overwhelm the greatest nations, the greatest men or women. Can overwhelm everything. A tiny virus. So we've learned from Bhagavad Gita that we're struggling with the material nature, that this is a world where so many miseries are always present. And now it's confirmed to everyone's vision. We'll have the immediate disease, then we have all the consequent effects, the economic mess, the mess to people's jobs and education and so many things. It's not a question, how can God allow this? This is what we expect. This is normal. This is normal for the material world. As long as we're in conditioned life, we have to expect such miseries from other living beings, from the body and mind, from nature. This is what we've bought into by coming to this material world and by accepting material bodies. The material body is finally a fragile thing for all of its marvelous workmanship and for all of the exercises and health regimes we may follow, still the body is a fragile thing. And it's meant to die. It may be today, it may be next week, it may be down the line. But jatasya dhruva mrityur, for one who's born, death is certain. And therefore, tasmad, Krishna says, sarvat, tasmad, let's see, it's in the 8th chapter.
Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu.
Sarveshu kaleshu, mamanusmara yujacha. Krishna says, therefore, you should always think of me. And at the same time, he tells Arjuna, yujacha, fight. Because Arjuna is a kshatriya, his duty is fighting. Someone else's duty may be business, or it may be administration, or it may be educational work. Everyone has some duty to perform. And Krishna says, perform that duty and think of me. Mamanusmara yujacha. So these lessons come home to us during such difficult times. Another feature or another lesson is our absolute helplessness. That finally, not only are we under the control of material nature, but we're really helpless. And therefore, we need to depend on Krishna. And there's a prayer by Vritrasura that as the baby birds who don't have their wings yet, 8:15, 8:30, as baby birds who don't have their wings yet are always dependent or always seeking to be fed by the mother, as calves are always approaching the mother for milk. Or there's one more. Calves and the child.
Just like a cow, the calf is waiting.
What's that?
Just like a calf is waiting for the cow.
Yeah, there's the second one, and then there's the third one.
And the girl, the lady is waiting for her.
Yes. As a woman whose husband is away from home is always thinking, when will he come back? When will he come back? Always thinking of him. So Vritrasura says, when will my love for Krishna be like that? When will I always want to be engaged with deep longing to serve the Lord? That's the natural position of the living being. Now we're longing for some paltry material temporary benefit, which will be finished and will not satisfy the soul. But this is what we're really meant for, to depend on Krishna, and therefore to get Krishna's mercy. The calf that's always coming to the mother gets milk from the mother. The child that's dependent is taken care of by the mother. The wife who's always thinking of the husband's always thinking of her. So Krishna is always thinking of his devotees. Sadhava hridayam mayam, sadhava hridayam tvaham. The saints are in my heart and I'm in their heart. They don't know anyone but me, so I don't know anyone but them. This is the loving relationship between Krishna and his pure devotees. So, ananya cheta chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate, those who properly worship Krishna or who worship Krishna from every side. hearing about Krishna, chanting, remembering. Tesham nitya biyuktana, those who are always connected with me in devotional service. Yogakshema vahamyaham, I carry what they need. It doesn't say I send it, or I personally carry, as a husband bears the responsibility for the whole family. Krishna carries what the devotee needs and preserves what he has. As far as I understand, this is not meant to be materially conceived. That is to say that whatever we have, or, if I want my possessions all intact, well, Krishna, as my order supplier, will keep everything. But Krishna will provide the real necessities of the devotee. And Krishna will protect the devotee from the onslaughts of material illusory energy. Tesham nityabhiyuktana. And therefore our business is always to be engaged in Krishna's service. So being locked down, shut in, or socially distant or whatever is another opportunity. Either it's an opportunity to fall into Maya, if that's what we want to do, or better, it's an opportunity for increased hearing, chanting, serving, cultivation of devotional service. These virtual sanghas provide us such opportunities. The books are there. We're always hearing. Well, apart from that, these are all opportunities that now we're home and we can think to ourselves, how do I become, under these circumstances, more Krishna conscious? What can I do under these circumstances to be more Krishna conscious? That effort will be rewarded. That effort will move my life forward. Simply time spent, following the news and the latest update, and the update from 20 minutes ago and 5 minutes ago, and now it's gone to this many people and that many people. That will not ultimately do very much for us. A minimum of information, of course, we need. That comes quickly and practically on its own. But the time that we can save for hearing, for reading, for chanting, for serving Krishna, that time is spent to our best advantage. And maybe I'll stop here and see what kind of questions you might have. Kirtaniya Sadhari, simply chanting. It's not something that we do when we have nothing else to do. When we chant Hare Krishna, we're engaging in real life. Chaito Darpana Marjanam, our greatest necessity is to purify our hearts, to revive our eternal Krishna consciousness. So if we spend our time for that, then how wonderful. And I wonder who might have some question at this point, if anyone.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
That's Pranav. I have one question. We understand that the current situation is, maybe Krishna's plan, and he's doing this.
A little slower, Mataji.
Okay. So my question is, the current situation, we understand that this is Krishna's plan and he's doing this. So how to make people understand that, this is his plan? We believe that, okay, whatever he's doing is good. But people who don't believe and they don't understand that, this is the time to utilize your time and this is the kind of alarm for you. So how to make people understand this?
That How to make people understand that this is Krishna's plan? Is that your question?
Yeah.
Yeah. The first thing is, depends where they are, but first thing is that this is the way the material nature works. This is simply the way it is, like oceans. If you're on the ocean gets storms, the ocean gets waves, the ocean gets turbulence. If you're flying, sometimes the weather gets turbulent. It's not that it's always, United Airlines used to have a motto, the friendly skies. The skies are not always friendly. Sometimes there'll be um, turbulence, sometimes there'll be, as we experience, there'll be harsh winters, there'll be harsh summers, there'll be all sorts of things. So what kind of world did you think this was? Did you think this was a picnic ground? Are you such a fool that you don't see that around you everyone is dying? Always, not, when there's a coronavirus, people die. Everybody dies. Your grandfather died, your father, if he hasn't died, will die, you'll die, your children will die. That's the kind of world it is. We're looking at the numbers and saying, oh my God, 2,000 people. Nothing. That's nothing. The number of people who are dying actually from, total it up. Everyone finally. That's the kind of world we're in. Put aside, we won't talk about Krishna's plan yet. What's your plan? Are you planning that you're just going to live forever and just enjoy, a happy time, and you won't get old, and you won't get diseased, and you won't die, and after dying, that'll be it? You won't come back? Is that what you think? If so, you really have you haven't caught the thread. You're missing the plot. The material world is by nature anityam asukam lokam. It's a place full of unhappiness, and even if you think, no, for me it's happy, then anityam. It doesn't last. We get whatever we get. It's lost in due course, and therefore, whatever I'm working so hard to get is going to be a lost cause. So that's the nature of this world. And yes, it's Krishna's plan, or it's our plan. Our plan was to enjoy independently. Well, okay, here's the result. The senses had a meeting, and they said, the stomach is enjoying the result of all our work. This is unfair. So they went on strike. Then who suffered? So in the same way, we're cutting ourselves off from Krishna, and then expecting that we're going to have a great old time. It's simply not the way it is. So that we have to see, and therefore, why Krishna's plan? It's our plan. Krishna's plan is he says, come back to Godhead. Mamupetya punarjanma dukalayam ashashvatam. Napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gata. You just come back to me, you'll never have to come back to this miserable material world. That's Krishna's plan. Elsewhere, Tesham aham samudharta mritu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha maya veshata chetasam. Just always think of me. I'll deliver you from the ocean of material existence, from birth and death. That's Krishna's plan. And our plan is, why? Why should I surrender? Why should I even believe in you? Why should then why is this, how is this Krishna's plan? It's your plan. You barricade yourself up in your house, you block all the doors and windows, and then you say, what kind of sun is this? It never shines in my house. Well, that was your work, remember? So, we want to stick it on God, that God is unfair, God is love. Why did my cousin die? All of this. But it's our plan. We want to be independent of Krishna and still have all the benefits of uh, eternal existence, eternal bliss and knowledge. We don't want to die. We always want to be happy, but we want to be in this material world on our own. So it's not Krishna's plan, it's our plan. And our plan is not to listen to Krishna. What is that? The 18th chapter. Ahankara, tachetvam ahankaram nashrotasi vinangshasi. Nashrotasi vinangshasi. If you don't listen to me, then you'll ruin yourself. If you just go by false ego and refuse to listen, then blame yourself for your suffering. Otherwise, by surrendering to Krishna, then all problems solved. But Krishna is begging, please engage in my service. Krishna is demanding, please engage in my service. And we're saying no. There's a line in Paradise Lost, an English poem, where the devil says, better to reign in hell than serve in heaven. Well, that's our plan. We'd rather be the boss in hell than to be the servant in the spiritual world. So now we're suffering. Who's to blame? Does that answer your question? Let them argue against that.
Yes, you did answer my question. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maji. Hare Krishna. Another question? I think we need to unmute ourselves there if we want to ask a question. There should be a little icon in the lower left-hand corner.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
There we go.
So you partly touched the point that I was thinking about, that we want material world to have all the spiritual world's quality, but our own terms. So why is material world made in this way? Why Krishna didn't make the material world also with the same qualities?
Yeah, it's like, what kind of government is this? Why did they make the prison such an unpleasant place? Why didn't they make it like, the Hilton Deluxe? Why didn't they make it a 5-star hotel? Why is the food so lousy? What kind of government is this? Well, it's our choice. Why does Krishna have to make the prison according to your specifications? Krishna doesn't have to make the prison according to the prisoner's specifications. That's one thing. Or another thing is, it's this way because this is what we've made for ourselves. Really. Surrender. No, I won't surrender. But why didn't you make it better for those who didn't surrender? For those who cut themselves off, why didn't you provide, for the tree, why didn't you make the leaves that fall off the tree, why don't you make them green also, instead of brown and dried up? No. Stay connected and you'll be green. But if you want to drop off, then turn brown and ugly. Why does he have to make the material world Sukhalia? It's the world of illusion. The world of illusion is the place where, but if you want, if you live according to pious life, you can go to the heavenly planets where it's almost, where your illusion will be better, where you can live for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and you can drink somaras, and you can hang out in the gardens with the lovely heavenly damsels and all of that. But then you have to die because it's temporary. And even that will not Yeah, gatagatam kama kama labhante. First of all, you have to perform pious activities. You know, even that. Suppose I want to enjoy heaven in this world. I don't want to go to the spiritual world. I want to enjoy heaven here. Okay, you can go to the heavenly planets. But for that, you have to be pious. No gambling, no intoxicants, no meat eating, no illicit sex. Yesham, you have to perform pious activities. But no, we want to perform the most impious activities and have heaven on earth. It's like, how arrogant can you get? We want to perform all sinful activities and then have no consequences. It's like people, they want to be alcoholics and not have hangovers. They want to be drug addicts, but not have, a habit that they can't break. I mean, it's contradictory. I want to overeat, but not get sick. It doesn't work that way. The world is, even the material world, Krishna is not our order supplier, and material nature isn't either. And rather, we're trying to suck out as much as we can from material nature, and material nature is retaliating. You want to perform sinful activities, you want to violate me and exploit me, all right. Then live in a dirty world with air that's going to make you sick and viruses that are going to afflict you and so many other miseries that aren't necessary. The extent of the miseries in Kali Yuga are an outcome of our own, what would we say, transgression of nature's laws. So we want to transgress the laws again and again, more and more, and then, why is God doing this to me? It's absurd. Is that okay?
Yes, Maharaj, thank you.
Okay. Something else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. This is Gopal Govind. Um, the
There
one
you go.
question, you touched so many beautiful points, and thank you so much for wonderful class. I would like to ask one question about one of the points you raised. The devotional service is inherently in our heart, but on the other hand, at this time of the pandemic, um, even the devotees, they are serving and trying to meditate on Krishna's names, but because of the anxiety, because of the faults in this body, people are a little bit shaken, including devotees. So what is your word of advice to stay focused, to stay fixed?
Chant Hare Krishna and take shelter if you're in anxiety. That was one of the original, what would you say, sort of advertisements for chanting Hare Krishna, that it frees you from anxiety, right? That's like for newcomers. You get free from anxiety. It leads you to the Vaikuntha platform. It does. So it's not just that these things are for saying to the public, but devotees will sometimes have anxieties, have fears, have mental agitation. Then what to do? Chant Hare Krishna. And chant very seriously, because that will do everything. Bhava Maha Davagni Nivarpanam, that will extinguish the forest fire of birth and death. And even in this life, one will be clear-minded by chanting Hare Krishna. So that's the first thing. There's cause, these things are natural causes of anxiety. But when there's anxiety, then remember Krishna. And how does one remember Krishna? By chanting. The cowherd boys, when there's some forest fire, Krishna, Krishna. They at once remember Krishna and call out to Krishna, please save me. This is the natural mentality of the devotee. Mamekam sharanam vraja. Krishna says, come to me for shelter. Sharanam. So when we're in anxiety, not just that we should start take shelter of the mental platform, or drift to the mental platform. Why this? Why that? What will I do? But rather, we should think of Krishna. This is my opportunity when there's difficulty, when there's our difficulty is nothing compared to the Pandavas, compared to other such devotees who had to under Prahlad Maharaj. But they chanted Hare Krishna, they took shelter of Krishna, and everything came out all right. So when these difficulties are there, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. The chanting, the books, the association of devotees, virtual or otherwise, service. If you have deities at home, you can serve the deity. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, all of these things. Then, as soon as we come to the Vaikuntha platform, Tatrako Mahaka Shoka Ekatvamaribhas. Where's the question of illusion or anxiety? When we come to the transcendental platform, then these problems are solved. The anxieties and troubles are on the platform of this body, and I'm not this body. When I'm in a nightmare, I'm crying, I'm being chased by a tiger, this could happen, that could happen. All these, but when we wake up, no tiger, no cliff to fall off. So otherwise, if you try in the dream, I tried A, I tried B, I tried C. No, don't go on sleeping and trying A and B. Wake up. Then, Tatrako Mahakasha. Then there's no illusion or anxiety. Ekatvamanupashita, because one realizes that one has the same, is of the same spiritual nature as Krishna. Eternal, blissful, full of knowledge. And not related to this material world, only apparently related, but not factually, not permanently related. Is that okay?
Thank you, Maharaj. That's really good helping. Thank you.
Okay. Another question?
Maharaj, this one question comes up many times, that is that I do know and I do realize that Krishna consciousness is important. It is a priority, but for some reason I'm not able to do it. And I'll do it later. I'll do it tomorrow. How can that be addressed in a way that we can take it up seriously now and not wait till tomorrow?
What to say? If it were $20,000, we wouldn't wait till tomorrow. We're serious, but we're serious of this, about what's not deserving of our dedication. But ataitad apyashaktosi kartam mad yogam ashrita sarva karma palatyagam tatakuru yatatmavan. Krishna says, if you can't think of me, and you can't, actually, before we get there, he says, I was one verse ahead of myself. Abhyase pyasamartosi mat karma paramo bhava. If you can't take to the devotional practice, then act in my service. Do something for my benefit. Mat karma paramo bhava. Madartam api karmani kurvan siddhim avapshasi. By doing that, you'll become perfect. There are some people, because of some family circumstance or some weakness, they can't or don't take up the practice of devotional service, all right, then do something practical. Use your energy, your ability, your assets to serve Krishna. Just using them for Maya is not making you happy, won't make anyone else happy. Dedicate yourself to Krishna. We know people like that. They know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They know that the process of Bhakti Yoga is the right process. But they have continual problems following the regulative principles. And Krishna says, then, Mat karma paramobhava. Give the results of your work to me. That way you'll make progress. But better is directly to take to Krishna consciousness. But if not, then this also works, but gradually. Is that an answer?
Yes, Maharaj.
For some people, that's the answer. They don't, there's a story that, well, anyway, stories aside, you approach someone to become Krishna conscious, he'd much rather become a life member than take up the practice of Krishna consciousness, right? He's not able, if you tell, there's some story that someone requested, some devotee young man joined, and then his father was objecting that he should be doing this or that. Why should he become a devotee? He should come back home. So then it was proposed, all right, let him come back home, but you be a devotee. No, let him continue. Something else? Is that all right, Ramchandra Prabhu? Hare Krishna. Well, we have 2 minutes more if there's another question.
Maharaj, may I ask one more question? Is that okay?
Of course.
Okay. If there is a little side question, there is a prediction that this next 10,000 years, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that 10,000 years will be like golden and like Satya Yoga. So with this pandemic is just a trailer. Maybe there are more worse things coming up in future. So how
Much
it sorry.
Much
So
worse.
much, yeah. So this devotional life, how the devotional life will proceed, it's gonna be difficult. Like temples are closed, we cannot go to temple. Ritual programs are happening. So how this
That's
will
one thing. This is another illustration that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement doesn't depend on temples. If we have temples, that's very good. And if we don't have temples, apratiyata, it won't be stopped. Especially Lord Chaitanya's movement doesn't require expenditure, doesn't require a building, it doesn't require big material arrangements. If you have ears and a tongue, you can join Lord Chaitanya's movement. And apratiyata can't be stopped. We can read, we can chant, we can associate one way or another, even if we can't associate. Anyway, there's no stopping it. There's no stopping it. And rather, the material difficulties become an impetus that in these difficult times, I have to be more serious about Krishna consciousness. Or in these difficult times, it's easier. It's an advantage. I'm more at home. I'm more. If I was thinking about going out to do this or do that for sense enjoyment, it's off the agenda now. So, all right, let me be serious in Krishna conscious. It's actually for the Krishna conscious person, the environment is always favorable. If things are nice, good. We'll chant, we'll dance, we'll do so many things. And if things are difficult, that's also good. We'll get more serious We'll do these virtual sanghas. We'll very seriously chant at home. We'll look for ways to communicate. People are looking for answers now. People are looking, they all have, everybody has anxiety, everybody has, so this is our suggestion, that you take this Krishna consciousness. Remember that Bhagavad Gita that's sitting on your shelf? Take it down and read it now. We have websites, the Kirtan is there, tune in. So you can encourage people. This is the time to cultivate Krishna consciousness. Don't waste the opportunity. It's an opportunity, actually. Don't waste it. Is that okay?
Yes, Maharaj, this is wonderful. And just like I was so much concerned, the Sankirtan is stopped, like temples are closed. In order to preach, in order to reach people, it's difficult. So obviously we're trying to find new avenues, spiritual sangha and all this. But it sounds like a little bit of hindrance as well for reaching out to the community.
These days, the internet is the place.
Yes.
So, there's thousands of forums on the internet. There's websites that are, everybody's looking for content. That's what drives traffic. So provide content. Say something about Krishna. People are asking questions. People are making points. Say something about Krishna. Start this, start that. Think of 100 different ways that you can reach people. Whether on the internet, the telephone is still good. Call people up. How many people do you have on your phone contacts list? They don't have to be devotees, even, associates, call them up. How are you doing? Everything's all right. And, you look for some opportunity to say something Krishna conscious. Otherwise, just keep the connection warm. There'll be some opportunity to follow up later. It's not that, we're all bottled in and we can't do anything. So many opportunities are there. So many opportunities are there. In one sense, it's, we look for these opportunities really to hang back a little bit from our usual engagements and chant more, read more. You can do that, recharge. Or it's an opportunity for outreach. Think, how am I going to strain your brain, Prabhupada used to say. How can I reach out to people? There are so many ways. It's just waiting for people to do it. All the ways that you can reach people without having to leave home. There are so many. Is that okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Maharaj.
All right.
Maharaj, the same question as Ramchandra Prabhu had also asked, just wanted to continue that one also. Sometimes we know that the situation happens, but the tendency of us as you have said, we are very much inclined to the material thing. We don't give up. Maybe tomorrow is a day, my day, there is a chance of this material enjoyment. Somehow or other I can make it. So we don't give up that hope over there. Materialistic people in the same way, and many people don't give that hope that I'm gonna make this a happy, peaceful life in this world. But in the same way, on the other hand, for us also, how can we develop that mood of hankering for Krishna? How we can have is for us to we have direct perception of material enjoyment. So it's easier for us to have some plan. I want this.
You
But
have the direct perception of material enjoyment and suffering. If you analyze your project, it's always enjoyment with misery mixed in. And therefore at the end we're dissatisfied. It's sweet rice mixed with sand. That's what it is. And we still say, well, there's sweet rice. But you put a little teaspoon of sand, the whole thing is finished. And that's their, for young people, there's so many songs, right? Popular songs. And it's all about how, my girlfriend left me, or my man's not there anymore, right? because that's everyone's experience. Disappointment, frustration, or, everything was going really great, and then, some disaster came. The bubble burst. That's the nature of the material world. And you're thinking that, no, we'll make it Sukhalia. It's a pipe dream.
Yeah, but that's the same thing. We don't give up. Like, if there's some girl that is bad for me, he mistreated me, but there will be someone. Like, I'll find the right one. Like, that we never give up.
And you'll
Right.
die looking for the right girl. You'll be 75 still looking. Therefore, we need the association of devotees, because the devotees will enlighten us. They'll give us a transcendental message, and gradually, the message will get through. Someone's sleeping, and you're calling, Mr. John, wake up. And finally, you call long enough and loud enough. Is that okay?